I'm working on dying.
Pop or a lot of the underground artists these days, you are probably used to hearing this producer tag literally everywhere.
I'm working on dying.
Now in this video, I'm going to cover
Bro,
how
he reminds me of Uzi, bro. Every time I hear that song on Uzi, it's a banger.
this producer collective managed to literally take over the hip hop scene.
Pay me at.
The group working on Dying was
man.
founded in 2012 by Filthy and his younger brother Oogie Mane. But at the time, it wasn't named Working on Dying yet. The group would really start coming together when the producer
Bro, Filthy is a fucking goat, bro. Filthy is a goat.
Forza would move in a few
Wake
houses
up,
down from
Filthy.
Filthy and his brother in middle school.
Wake
The three
up,
of them would
Filthy.
start skating together to school. This is when the trio would then bring in Brandon Finessin when they met him in 9th grade. I also think it's important to add in that Oogie, Brandon and Forza all went to school with Lil Uzi Vert, which I will explain later on. Around this
For
time,
real?
Filthy would learn to make beats. He would practice for around 6 months on FL Studio before teaching his friends the basics of the program. Then
That's
throughout
fire.
that year,
That's some
they all
grind
started
stuff.
to learn
That's
the
some grind
basics of
stuff.
production. Then Filthy and Oogie would meet Lucy Man through one of their god brothers. As Lucy Man
some
was a
grind
rapper at
stuff
the
right there.
time, the trio began making music in the brothers' basement. It was then Lucy who
damn.
came up with the name Working on Dying in 2013.
I was just in the driver's seat of my car. It was mad cold, mad snowy. Not AC. My heat wasn't working. I had a glass of whiskey in my left hand. I had a steering wheel in my right. And I was like, damn, I'm really working on dying right now. Like, oh yeah, my dad died that year. My dad died the day after I turned 18. It was lit.
How'd he die?
In a bad way. Cancer.
Really?
Yeah, it was fucked
damn.
up. It was super bad.
The name Working on Dying was originally going to be used for Lucy Man's mixtape, but then Filthy persuaded him to use it as the group's name. Oogie Man was the first in the group to have a notable placement. In 2013, Oogie Mane produced songs for Xavier Wolf and Chris Travis. Then the group would release their debut tape at the start of 2014, named The Lucy Man Presents Working on Dying. I don't even know how to explain what genre this tape is. It's basically songs with calm ambient synths mixed with vocals from rappers Lil B and Gucci Mane. I'll just play a snippet so you know what I'm talking about.
Don't you like my chain?
Working on dying.
My chain. Don't you like my chain, man? Young Gucci Mane, and I'm popping off the chain.
I would
It's
also
like
like to
slow
mention
reverb.
at this time, Forza was not
It was like slow and reverb.
heavily involved in the group as he was more focused on personal interests. Then after the release of their debut mixtape, the group would start making connections within the underground scene. At the time, they would be reaching out to Black Cray and Goth Money Records. Filthy would be the main organizer of this. He would send them beats. He even booked Goth Money and Stob Mob for his shows in his hometown,
Filthy,
Philadelphia.
Some
Then in
X,
August, the group would gain even more recognition
X.
when Oogie Mane worked on the production of Lil Uzi Vert's debut mixtape, The Real Uzi. Talking about recognition, I would appreciate if you could guys
Think
subscribe
about
as
dyeing
it
my
helps
hair
out a ton.
pink.
It's much
Wait, no,
appreciated.
wait.
But unfortunately for the
See,
group,
that's why I dyed my hair pig off of all his ends or something like that. I forgot how that shit went out.
Lil Uzi Vert blew up too fast and they lost contact with him. Working on Dying had spent the whole of 2015 making connections to different artists within the underground scene. And at the time, their main collaborations were Black Cray, Marcy Mane, and Kane Groceries, who were all part of Goth Money Records. With their connections to Goth Money Records, Working on Dying would also get placements on Booty Chains and Goonie Chonga's songs. The music Working on Dying was producing at the time was seen as some of the rawest in the underground. And now that Working on Dying had placements on songs with at the time some of the underground's biggest artists, they were ready to release Working on Dying 2. Produced by Filthy and Lucy Man, Working on Dying 2 would release on the 11th of November in 2015. This project would give us an insight into Working on Dying's early sound, but unlike the first project, this mixtape would contain actual artists on the songs. With all these connections to different people in the underground, Working on Dying could develop their sound from a more slow ambient sound to something more fast-paced and raw. This is when the new genre would arise. Tread. The new sound was shown to the underground when Filthy and Black Cray, who is also known as Sick Boy Rari, came together in late 2015 to release Shitty Sick Boy. Then the whole of Working on Dying came together to work on a second tape with Sick Boy Rari, named Working Out the Mud, which kickstarted the whole Tread era.
Still shine with my shirt, clear long like a roller, in the club,
At this time, these two projects were seen as revolutionaries to the underground sound. Working on Dying absolutely destroyed this, like in a good way. This new high tempo style that they created just sounds amazing. Now around 2016 and 2017
I'm listening.
is where Working on Dying started to make a real impact, as they developed their sound from making synth-heavy ambient beats to their fast-paced tread style. The tread era was starting to take over the underground. Working on Dying would start working with artists such as Lil Yachty, Lucky, Lil Peep, and Lil Tracy. Working on Dying
Legends. Legends. Need some goats right here. I don't give a fuck. Y'all say some goats. Lil Yachty, Lucky, and Lil Tracy. See, Lucky and Peep are my goats and Yachty, bro. I don't know about Tracy, cause I never listened to Tracy like that. But these three I listen to a lot. I listen to a lot. Still on the day. Still today, I also listen to Peep and all that.
first realized the impacts they were having when they visited LA in 2016. During this time, Filthy was sleeping
And then Filthy and Lucky, bro, they're so close, bro. Every freaking Lucky song, like, wake up, Filthy.
on the
Bro, they
couch
got a whole freaking.
in Lil Peep's and Lil Tracy's house. The Working on
Lil
Dying crew
Peep
would
and
perform
Lil
at a warehouse
Tracy.
show where they
Why
realized
am
everybody
I
was
here
catching on to their
lately?
tread sound. This was when Working on Dying knew that they had made an impact. From coming together and making beats in Filthy's basement, to creating their own genre and having some of the underground's top artists perform their music in front of hundreds of people. Now with the group's producer tags being associated with underground classics, the Working on Dying collective grew exponentially. They became one of the most sought after producers within the underground, but that wasn't enough for them. They wanted to go mainstream, and the youth from their hometown would provide this opportunity. In 2017, Forza would find the viral star, Matt Ox, who was
Matt.
just 11 at the time. I mean, just imagine that. This kid was 11 and he was being brought in to make music with Working on Dying. It's just insane. The two parties would start making music, where eventually Matt Ox and Oogie Mane managed to make a viral hit, Overwhelming.
Man, when this came over, it took over. Business experience and everything took over.
Ox and Oogie Mane managed to make a viral hit, Overwhelming.
Posted in the trenches, got us one flexing. Feeling what I'm repping, Oogie Mane killed it.
Oh, man, he killed it.
The song currently sits on 30 million views, which again is just insane. This guy was literally a superstar at 11 years old. Matt Ox was being mentioned in every mainstream publication and even performed alongside Chief Keef in LA. And in 2017, Working on Dying were also reunited with Lil Uzi Vert. After Uzi finished his tour that year, he came back to Philly to record with Working on
Didn't
Dying.
EXO
Then as
tour life have
2017
it?
went
EXO
past,
tour life
Matt
have-
Ox kept getting
Whoa.
bigger and bigger. And as Matt Ox grew,
God.
Working on Dying and their tread genre
remember.
were at the brink of ascending into the mainstream. The entire world was about to witness the talent of Working on Dying. Then a couple months after Overwhelming blew up, one of Drake's affiliates contacted Oogie Mane asking for beats.
Oh,
Oogie, who
shit.
was currently working at Urban Outfitters, first thought it was a troll, so he just sent over a pack from 2015. But it all became very real when Drake followed him and sent him a DM, saying that they just made a hit. This is when Working on Dying knew the hard work paid off and they officially made
I'll
it.
be-
This Drake
whoa,
placement
Drake
would spiral
DM
the
you?
group into success. After Drake's I'm
Damn.
Upset peaks at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100, Oogie Mane, Forza, and Brandon Finessin would all make a reunion with their high school friend Lil Uzi Vert and produce hundreds of tracks with him, including mainstream hits such as Sanguine Paradise and That's a
Oh,
Rack.
man,
Oogie would then
That's
go
a
on to
Rack,
produce
That's
tracks
a
on
Rack.
Juice WRLD and Future's World on Drugs, and also produced for Playboy Carti. But in 2019,
Legend.
controversy arose for the group when parts of Lil Uzi Vert's Eternal Take began to leak online. Unfortunately, it came out that Uzi's high school friend and Working on Dying producer, Forza, was leaking the songs. Obviously, this meant that Forza was kicked out the group and was no longer on Eternal Take. Then 2020 arose. It was standard for Working on Dying producers to be seen with mainstream superstars. Brandon Finessin and Oogie Mane were both seen on the production credits of Lil Uzi's Eternal Take and also Future and Lil Uzi Vert's Pluto X Baby
Baby
Pluto.
Pluto.
Then on the 4th of December in 2020, Working on Dying would release their third project, Waiting to Die, featuring artists such as Lancey Foe and Lucky. Also, this is not confirmed, but I think this is around the time Fax only joined the group. Fax wasn't
I'm
an
so
original
happy
member
for
of the
Lucky's
group,
success
but
right
he's now listed as part of the collective and did produce on Waiting to Die, so I think this is around the time period that he joined the group. Then on Christmas Day in 2020, Playboy Carti would drop his highly anticipated Whole Lotta Red. This project really got
Alright.
Filthy's name into the mainstream. Filthy did an insane job on Whole Lotta Red. Filthy produced the majority of the songs on the project and was
Lotta
seen as a
Red.
standout producer on the
Hot
album
to
with his
head.
addicting rage style
Nigga, you
beats.
dead.
Then in 2021,
Don't give
the
a fuck,
producer
yeah.
Benny X would join the Working on Dying collective. Benny X is usually recognized for his work with Yee and Lancey Foe. Then more recently in 2022 and 2023, as usual, Working on Dying are out here producing hits after hits for the biggest rappers in the game. Filthy and Oogie Mane managed to land a placement on Drake's and
Damn.
21 Savage's Her Loss, which released on the 4th of November in 2022.
That's
Benny X
fire, bro. I
also
remember
managed to
listening
produce
to
the
Drake. I
Drake
was like,
single
what the
Search and
fuck?
Rescue, which
Like,
released on the
nigga.
7th of April in 2023. Filthy and Benny X also closely worked with Yeet on the production of his 3 most recent projects:
Damn.
Two Alive, Life, and Afterlife. Then Brandon Finessin and Oogie Mane produced songs off Lil Uzi's Red and White tape, and they will probably be working on the production of Lil Uzi's Pink tape. And
Bro,
that's
where's
pretty
Pink
much
Tape?
it for
No,
working
no,
on
no, no, no.
Die.
Where's Pink Tape, bro? Pink Tape was supposed to drop like last year.
They've got themselves out
Bro,
of Filthy's
Pink
basement
Tape,
to
bro.
being one of
That's fire,
the
though.
most in-demand producers in hip-hop right now. I would
That's
even
fire.
go to say that they are running the hip-hop game right now. If you enjoyed the video,
Filthy.
like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I don't care if Filthy's him, bro. I like Filthy, bro. Wake up, Filthy. Filthy's him.